But I think the most serious moment that hit my family the most was when we learned that they had been using private intelligence companies that had been physically stalking us, photographing our house, following me on trips and producing very detailed reports on my whole life.
What was your motivation to step up against fake Toshi?
You know, it was never like I made a decision to step up like that. It was more that I was put in a position by these people where they demanded me to basically become a supporter by vouching for this guy being Satoshi. And I was just one voice out of thousands of voices. I was not a particularly big account either. So it's more a matter of not being willing to back down on my word and on truth.
When did you realize that this fight was inevitable?
I think it was, I mean, the biggest line in the sand was when they found my identity. And of course, they were then going to proceed with filing a lawsuit. So that was the line in the sand, and when I understood that this was going to be a long battle.
How was the experience of witnessing all his lies in court?
The first word that comes to my mind is it was very surreal, because I have never been in a courtroom before, so that was surreal in itself. And then seeing this clown launching into the most outrageous lies was a very surreal experience. And sitting there and just feeling the seriousness of it, and the full weight of the legal system and all the consequences that would follow if I somehow lost. It was a very special and high tension situation.
Did you ever even doubt the outcome of the whole trial?
I never thought it was not a good idea, because to me integrity is everything, and I was willing to accept any consequences to avoid losing my integrity. And but I didn't really think much about the outcome, to be honest. I just thought about doing what was inside of my control, and the rest would follow.
What would you say was the darkest moment of this terrible saga?
I think during all of this, to be honest, I never let it. I always was able to protect my family from most of the exposure. But I think the most serious moment that hit my family the most was when we learned that they had been using private intelligence companies that had been physically stalking us, photographing our house, following me on trips and producing very detailed reports on my whole life. And the reason that was bad is because it hit my fiancée and my family a lot, to know that this is has entered our physical space, and they felt no longer as safe in our own house. So that was probably the most serious moment.
Do you think that this trial might prevent others to come out as Satoshi?
Yeah, I think it's getting harder, at least. And to be honest, I think this was a one-off. We will never see anything like this again, because the combination of a delusional person being able to lie like this, and at the same time being backed by people with very deep pockets, willing to put tens and maybe hundreds of millions of dollars behind it, I don't think that's going to happen again.
What would you say were your learnings from this experience?
I've learned that low time preference is good. I've learned that if you stick to your sword and your words through difficult times, good things will happen. And I learned that there are so many amazing people in Bitcoin willing to step up and take different types of risk to help other Bitcoiners.
How did you feel, and what went through your mind when you start seeing all the overwhelming support that came from the community?
It was crucial, and you talked about emotion. I usually remain pretty stoic, but I had a lot of, like, I cried several times during these 5+ years, and every time I cried, it was because of all the support and all the people who, you know, just had my back. And that was, I'll remember it forever, and I'll forever be grateful for the way the community stepped up for me.
How do you feel about the evolution of Bitcoin and its technology?
In some ways, this whole story with fake Toshi it's almost like it's a follow-up from the block size wars, or like it's related to the block size wars. And we've seen a lot of actors in recent years wanting to change Bitcoin in different ways, and they are promoting, you know, a faster pace of change, and they call it innovation. Personally, I'm very conservative. I think Bitcoin in its current state is enough to save us, so to say. And I will always choose the conservative side of the discussion in terms of adding more features and tech to the Bitcoin protocol.
Do you think that changes to the protocol will make it stronger and even better?
I think it has, I mean, changing the protocol has the potential to make Bitcoin better, for sure. But it also introduces risk, and it also introduces desensitization to the concept of change. Like, one change makes the next change more likely to happen. And I'm just wary of, you know, introducing any type of risk into this crucial freedom technology that we have here.
What would you say is the meaning of the phrase, "we are all Satoshi"?
Yeah, I think in my mind they are, like, "we are all Satoshi" is a way to express that it doesn't matter who Satoshi is. We want to, at least I do, I don't want to know who Satoshi is or was. And, you know, I also feel like obviously there is no leader in Bitcoin, and that's good. The We Are All Hodlonaut campaign, or whatever you want to call it, was more like a spontaneous show of support in terms of the doxing threats against me. But I think both of these hashtags show a very positive aspect of the decentralized nature of Bitcoin. And, you know, this weird coherence in the community where we have each other's backs in many ways.
What's your take regarding the HBO documentary and how they unveiled who Satoshi Nakamoto is?
No, it's clickbait, basically. You know, it's the normies, the no-coiners. For them, this mystery of Satoshi connected to this supposed 1 million stack of coins. It's just such a juicy story. For me, I'm just extremely bored with it. I don't want to know, and I'm not interested in speculating. But I do understand that mainstream media and non-Bitcoin entities are very tempted to make juicy content out of this mystery. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of it.
Is this your first time in Lugano?
Yes, this is my first time.
Have you bought anything with Bitcoin in Lugano?
Not yet. I'm hoping to today. I haven't really explored the city too much yet.
Have you been to other Bitcoin circular economies?
No. Closest I've been to a Bitcoin circular economy is running Citadel 21, the Bitcoin cultural magazine, which was completely circular Bitcoin economy.
What do you like the most of Lugano?
I think the scenic part of it. I just love how it looks with the lush nature and the waterfront and the mountains. Yeah, I really like how it looks.
What is your take on Tether's growth this past 10 years?
I mean, Tether has been, it's always been there in Bitcoin, or for a very long time now. And my take on Tether is I think they've been very important by always being on the right side of Bitcoin history and supporting the right causes. So personally, I'm thankful for Tether's contribution to Bitcoin.